13, and we're back to embroidery tonight. I started this snowflake without you. I've put lots of beads. I found some bigger beads, and I decided that more is better, right? Isn't more always better? And then if you look really close, I have satin stitched, but in a stylistic way so that it goes out to each of the points. I've satin stitched around the center. I've done something called flossing in the outer stems. And what flossing is a technique used to embroider corsets to hold your boning to secure your boning channels and to secure your boning in. And it's really pretty, and they often use contrasting colors and things like that. But I thought, just for fun, with this snowflake, that I would try some of the flossing on these exterior segments, and then add in a little blue contrast as well. Now, really, the only thing flossing is you're doing sort of a cross-stitch, graduated sequence from one end to the other, and it's purely to secure it. I'm finishing one that I started here, and then we will. Then I'll start you one fresh and show you all that I've done. There are lots of different flossing. It's interesting too, because I don't know if you guys have kids around, but flossing is also what we do when that dance they do. That's called flossing as well. And it's kind of interesting because it's a very similar technique to the embroidery, as you're going from side to side and down the middle, side to side and down the middle. So I'm gonna, and I have an end out here, but I'm gonna carry this, I'm gonna travel this over, just going underneath my work to go to the next one. And I will show you how I am flossing this particular, there we go. I'll move the camera down so that you can see what I mean by this, and hopefully we won't have any tech issues. All right, let's get this down so you can see my hands and get you straight so it doesn't disorient my... So all flossing is, and it's going to be a little bit hard to see on this, but all flossing is we're going to do a long cross stitch all the way up from the bottom of this to the top and across the opposite side. So we've got the first one, and I will have to be careful. So I've done a little X right there, right there. And then I'm going to cross it. So I'm going to go to the top on the other side here. I'm going to go to the top on the other side, and I'm going to go down to the bottom. Oh, darn it. Unthreading itself. I also have some other ends here that's not playing nice with me here. Let's get this fixed, and then I'll come back to you. I left my thread dangling, thinking I would need it, and then I've started a new one because I put this down for a few days. All right, thread this again, and we'll show you the third technique. So I've gone across one diagonal, I'm going down and forming a very tall X. Tall X. Then I'm going to do that sequence again. So I'm going to go back up to this corner and go right next to it and go back down. And then I'm going to go to the first corner, go right next to it. And I could have done these 2 stitches on one, 2 stitches on the other. I suppose consistency would be good, but I didn't. There. There. So now I have a double crisscross X right there. Now I'm going to go up the middle. So I go down at the bottom at the center of the rectangle on the long side. You see it there? And I'm going to go up once. And then right next to that, I'm going to go back down again. And I could just make it like a satin stitch. I just didn't. Back down again. And that is this flossing design. There we go. And then I'm going to sneak my way to the next one, do the same thing again, sneak it over to the next one, do the same thing again. The other thing that I decided to do, because the white wasn't very visible, is I took the ice blue and I just put little single lines of interest. So in the center, oh, and I did a little flossing design in the center as well. So I really can't go further out, but I can go up here and put a little, I'm going to connect branches to each of the petals. I'm going to put, let me show you here this. I'm going to do like a little single line flossing there, and then a line straight out to the tip, and then a branch and a branch and a branch to that. And then I'm doing like a spoke, a wheel in the center. But now that I'm looking at this, it looks like I need to finish my flossing first, don't I? Boy, that needs an end. There we go. So let's finish all this flossing. I'm going to go down into the center now and do the center one. The center design that I've chosen to do is just to do a satin stitch, but only in 3 strips. So I'm going to go from the center of this motif out to the corner on this segment. And then, boy, I'm having all kinds of trouble with my thread this time. There. There. So from the center out to one side, and then back into the center and out to the middle of that rectangle. And then finally back into the center and out to the edge, to the other edge. So it's a V with a dividing line at the front. And then I'm going to go back to the center and do it in the next segment. Out to the edge, back to the center, out to the middle, or a straight line up that segment, back to the center, and then out to the edge. And this is actually another flossing motif. So if you see right up close there, see how I've just done sort of a, it's like that, coming off the center. A finger, a finger, a finger. So that's that one, and I've done that flossing. Let's see where we've ended up. I have two more to do. So I'm going to work my way out to this one and just finish it, and that way all the blue work can be finished. All right, so now it's time to do this flossing. Move my ice blue out of the way. And this one was form an X. Well, I'm just going to do this one strategically, so I'm going to go, whoops. Well, if one does it, I have to actually make an X. I did a straight line up the side there. And although that's a technique, it's not the one I picked for this one. There. So, an X. Gonna run the 2 lines here, one next to the other. And then the 2 over here. And then 2 up the center. Basically, in the flossing work, we're doing this so that the pointy edge of a wire doesn't poke out through the bottom. And so you secure up the bottom as well. But we're doing it just because it's decorative. So there's that one, and then I have one left, and I will have finished all the white. All the use of the embroidery floss for the white. And I do apologize, this design is not very visible. So when I move my thread, if I don't want to pull it out or tie it off, I just go up behind the other stitches and travel over to where I want to be. So see underneath there, I'm traveling under all those satin stitches to get to the location where I want to be. And it's right there. So out through that stitch and up to the opposite corner, once, and then I go right next to that first stitch and back out to that opposite corner, but in the opposite direction, so more into the top of the rectangle. And then I'm going to go over to the other side, over on that side of the rectangle, and go down to the bottom. And then up to the top and position it right next to the first exit hole, and then just inside the one from before, and then finally up the middle twice. One, two. There. And I filled it, but in a little bit more decorative way than just a plain old boring satin stitch. Okay, and I'm going to anchor this off. Oop, and I have mangled the ice blue. It is twirled around everything. So we're going to try and disconnect that. But of course, no. There we go. I'm tying my knots here. Sorry, you're seeing the top of my head. Tie up my knots. I'm taking care of both of them at the same time. All right. And you probably can't even see the work I'm doing, but I haven't tipped you down as far as I normally do. All right, now it's time for the ice blue. And I will have to probably get another piece of this because it has been used up at each strand is being used up at a slightly different rate. All right, ice blue, and we are right here. So I do just one strand up in the flossing, into that large edge flossing. So one strand straight up there, and then a little 3-finger one along the edge. So here, I'm going to go into here and go straight up one, and then do two little branches off either side, or 3 fingers. Down into the middle where I came out, and the same again on the other side. And then this one needs a branch all the way to the top. And this is all arbitrary. You should absolutely do what you want to do on these. I know Jessica, a friend of mine, is also doing this Advent, and it's super amazing how her how just a little bit of creativity and your snowflakes can look completely different. There we go. I've got some more spokes to do. I don't know if I have enough thread. Might need to pull another blue one out. So spokes. Just a spoke. Oop. Yep, not enough. So it's time to get another blue thread. And this is, I have a single strand of the blue here, and I really want a 2-strand of it. So I'm going to just thread my single strand, and I know I don't need this whole length. I'll just fold it in half and make it 2. All right. 2 spokes. Actually, 3 spokes. 1 up one of the flossing strands. 1 down in between the marked white pieces across the red. And then another one up another flossing strand. I really like what the middle's doing. See how that's making a kind of array of blue? An array. Or a sunburst, snowburst. Another one in between. Out to that bead. And then a final one back up to the from the center out. There. And then we have fingers coming to a point. 1, 2, 3, and then a single one out to the end. There it is. And then I got to do that twice more. So we're going to travel, because I left those done. I'm going to travel to there. This time I'm going to come out down from the edge of the foot snowflake. So a single straight stitch, and then 3 fingers. Fingers. There's that. And then travel to the very last one. To the very last one. And we have 3 last fingers. Should I call it the 3 finger stitch? It's a form of flossing, but I call it the 3 finger stitch. I don't know what it's supposed to be called. Oop. Got caught on my bead there. There. And out. And then a final stitch or spoke all the way out to the tip. There we go. So I'll put a link to flossing so that you can see the variety of possible stitches. in the info below. But when you see me next, I'm going to lift you back up. So I'll put a link to Flossing in the info below to show you what that and those little 3 marks are about, and that there's a huge variety of stitches you could do in flossing. This is just one of the simplest. And when you see me again, through the magic of TV, I will have cut this out, put it back on, and oh, and I get to do a little bit of stitching on the back of this. I'm just gonna do an outline, simple stuff. But I'll have this sewn together, and we'll attach it to the tree for our 4th ornament. All right, day 13 is done. Here's a close-up of that ornament. We have beads, we have flossing, we have satin stitch, and I went ahead and put blanket stitch on both sides. Plus, although I didn't take this into account when I put my ribbon on, I have a little embroidery on the back. Now we have four ornaments on the tree. Now, one of the downsides to cutting a branch and just putting it on your wall and having it be real is what's happening on my floor right now. I jostled it a bit when I was sewing my button in, and that's what I got. All right, happy Advent. I'm gonna repeat. I'm gonna turn around in front of the tree. I'm gonna repeat what I keep saying every day. Follow us if you haven't. Subscribe, hit the like button, and comment. Happy Advent. See you tomorrow.